Okay, we're up here again on the roof of the CSI, and I'm with Mark Kuznicki, who is with Remarkk. And back behind Mark there is where you used to work, right? Before you started doing what you're doing now. So why don't you tell us what you're doing now?
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm very involved in consulting and advising government and nonprofit organizations around how to engage citizens in new ways, particularly using face-to-face gatherings combined with online social media and online community platforms.
Okay, and what did you do over there before you started doing this?
Well, before over there, I used to work on the 35th floor at First Canadian Place. I worked for an institutional bank called State Street Trust Company, which was based out of Boston. And I was working there doing client management for very large institutional investors, so pension funds and mutual funds and those kinds of people. And I basically had a moment, on 9/11 and subsequent to 9/11, where I really started to rethink what I was doing and I wanted to find out more about what was actually going on in the world, what was driving the things that are happening in the world that I didn't like, and what change, and to try and find out more about how change happens, and to be part of that, and to make that part of my mission as a person, that I was going to be part of making positive change happen.
So you've done a lot of work with Transit Camp, with Change Camp, with bringing people together in a physical space and using social media as an adjunct for that. So let's talk a little bit about how you work at bringing people together physically to promote change.
Sure. My biggest belief is that when citizens convene other citizens, that's a really powerful moment for change to happen. When citizens decide that we're going to come together and have an event called Transit Camp because we want to improve the system of transit that we use here in the city, and then invite the institutions to our space, it changes the dynamic a lot. So I'm very interested in how citizens can be actually real agents of change, and then invite power and influence and those people that actually have the professional jobs to plan transit, for example, to that conversation. So a lot of that is using open space style methods. So open space technology, if you want to Google that, will provide you a bit of an idea of what that looks like.
Okay. So walk us through just a bit of that, of what
Sure.
the Transit Camp experience was like for folks.
Right. So in Transit Camp, we had maybe up to 100 people come together in the Gladstone Hotel in Toronto here, and we brought those people together. We brought them into a circle, and in the circle, we had a facilitator, Misha Gluberman, who sort of set the ground rules. And the ground rules are that we are here in this equal community, and that the things that we're going to talk about are going to come from the participants in that circle. Anyone could take initiative and to start a session topic of their choice out of that circle, and we allow people to then propose sessions, put them on a grid. Basically, the schedule of the day is created the morning of by the participants, and then once the session topics are established, then the entire group self-organizes, chooses which session they want to go to at a particular time. So it has this very organic, self-organizing feeling to it. And we allow people, in fact, we give permission to vote with their feet, basically to move where they're getting the most value from the conversation or contributing the most value to the conversation. The law of 2 feet, we call it. And that allows people to, again, if they're not getting something from a session, don't complain about it, go create. Go find a place to create the conversation that you need to have. And that's some of the principles that go behind it.
Cool. And how do social media tools fit into that, and how they act as an adjunct to it?
Well, I think this is a big change. So this open space idea has been around for a lot of years. A lot of practitioners have been using it to gather people together in large groups for a long time. What we have with social media now is a way of capturing the content of those conversations and sharing it with people that aren't in the room, sharing it across time, different place, allowing participation and commenting and the kinds of things that are enabled online, so that conversation of 8 to 12 people in a circle in Gladstone Hotel in 2007 lives on and exists online, and other people have added to it, and other people have been inspired by it and wanted to do their own thing, and social media enables that. It's really about making that same time, same place, face-to-face experience something that can be more broadly participated in by a lot of people.
Now, there's a Change Camp coming up in Vancouver pretty soon, right?
Actually, we just had Change Camp in Vancouver.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it was Change Camp Vancouver. Before that, we had Ottawa, and in January we had Toronto. Other cities coming up probably will be Edmonton, Halifax, potentially Montreal. So Change Camp coming to a city near you. And we've had a lot of success with the Change Camp model as it moves from transit, a specific issue area, to a much more general question: government and citizenship. What does it mean? Now that we've got all these tools of participation, how are we going to rethink how we do policy making, how we plan things, how we do things together as citizens?
Now, I was talking to Matthew Blackett in a previous episode, and he was talking about the silos at City Hall here in Toronto and municipal government in general, and how he's hoping in the work that he's doing to break down those silos. Do you feel the same sense of frustration around those silos, and is Change Camp making a difference there?
Absolutely, we feel the same frustration, and it's not just within government, but inside and outside government. So, within the nonprofit world, there are a lot of silos, and there's a lot of interinstitutional jealousy and things that happen when people compete over a limited resources like money and these things. So, what we're trying to do with Change Camp is to shift the context from that of the government initiating a government-run initiative to more of a community context. So what we do is we basically make it so that nobody actually owns it. So nobody owns the event. It's something that is a shared place that's created for people to share information, knowledge, ideas, and then people go back into their home context, their departments that they work within, and hopefully are informed and shifted and enabled and connected to new people and ideas that helps them in their work. So I think what we're trying to do is create that third space, that third place, that allows people to step outside of their day-to-day professional roles and give them access to new knowledge, new connections that they wouldn't otherwise have.
And do you think you're making a difference?
I think we are. I think we're making a big difference. I think we've had a number of initiatives that have come up since Change Camp, and I get anecdotal information all the time about how their work has been changed by the conversations that they had, and specific projects like opening the data at the City of Toronto or the City of Vancouver and the City of Ottawa is something that's a big topic right now, and Change Camp was a big influence in making that a hot topic and something that people felt was worth working on.
Cool. Okay, thanks very much for joining us, Mark.
You're welcome.